right, we should know real early on here what the pace and Grijalva, specifically Grijalva's, intentions right here early on.
We'll find out.
We'll kind of look right at the 200-meter mark. I think if they're right around 32 seconds, we know that, hey, he's coming here to try to break 13:20, which will put him #1 in the NCAA.
So Wascom goes right to the front there, checking that watch.
30 seconds at 200, so they're out quick. And a lot of times you'll see that. Pacers exerting themselves to get themselves to the front. Then when they get there, they'll kind of slow it down just a bit and get everybody on track here.
It's like Maggard up front there as well. Up in the 4th spot, I should say. Grijalva content to settle in.
62, so they're rolling along real well. So I mean, that's smart. Grijalva's got himself kind of tucked in the middle there, kind of came through where he needs to come through. 64-second pace is like 13:20. So if the Pacers are coming through 16:62, that means they're kind of taking the meat of that field through in 63, 64, which is where they want to be to be on track to run 13:20 to 13:30. So the night is perfect right now. I mean, the weather is great. This is a fast track. It's been white hot. This track has been white hot all day long in the distances. So, I think these guys have been chomping at the bit and are ready to come and run fast. And we're seeing it right here with the pace early on. John Dressel up there in 3rd. He's a guy to keep an eye on. He's just such a savvy racer. Every Wetmore coached runner, especially when you're in the program for a long time, they race so smart. Dressel is a 11-time All-American at Colorado. He's done just about everything you can do in the sport. He's already run 13:36 in this event this year. I expect him to be a big part of the front of this race.
Well, we talked about how strong the 5K is overall at the national level. And this is a lot of the reason why guys in this heat here. So Pacemaker's still out front there. You see Maggard in the Hoka kit.
And that's, you'll see in the Hoka jersey there in 4th is Dillon Maggard. Dillon Maggard, he's a good pro running for the NAS Elite down there in Flagstaff. All-American at Utah State.
Easton Allred on his heels there for BYU.
One of Utah State's all-time most decorated runners. Now he's moved on professionally really well. Allred is not messing around up there. He's a true freshman. Allred is a true freshman. He was one of the most decorated Utah preps. Last year he ran 4:03 for a full mile. And has a huge, great prep resume, and he hasn't missed a beat. He stepped right in in Provo. He's already broken 14 minutes, and then now here he is saying, "Hey, let's
mix
just
it up.
Yeah, mix it up with the big boys."
Yeah,
on a really quick early pace here. We're gonna get a check here.
13:54 for that Hayward Premier 5K.
So we're going to see right around 13:45 is going to be 13:20, or 3:45 is 13:20 pace. So they're 3:46 right there. So it's slowed just a little, but you see them all strung out in the line. Everybody's got their place on the rail. This is just textbook distance racing with rabbits. Everybody takes their spot in line. No one runs longer than they need to. Follow the guy in front of you and let the Pacers do their work. And then the race really starts right around 2 miles.
And it's early going still, just over 4 minutes in, but what just a clean line. You've got the 4 guys out front there, Maggard hanging off the back of that pacing pack, but really no gaps anywhere, a couple meters here and there, but I mean, they're strung perfectly out. And I think everybody's right where they need to be.
Yeah, 4:18 for the Pacers. That's 4:20 kind of for the meat of that field. That puts them somewhere, kind of in that 13:25 to 13:30 range. And again, some of these guys will be able to finish off of that pace and maybe have a shot at breaking 13:20. Maggard looks really comfortable in 4th. And like I said, John Dressel is, as savvy and experienced as they come at the collegiate level. Look at Grijalva. He's kind of been leapfrogging his way through the field because there was a little mini gap there, and now he's latched on to the back of of Maggard. And there's your kind of key players right there. You got Dressel, Maggard, and Grijalva. Let's talk about Grijalva. He's had a really great career, hasn't he? All-American in cross country this last year. He's been a part of 2 national championship cross country teams for the Lumberjacks.
Are we calling this 2021?
Yeah, it was 2020, 2021 cross country.
21. It's confusing.
He was a big part of that.
Yeah, NAU getting it done this year as well.
And he ran that 13:16 in this event in December. Now, he's not officially on the NCAA list with that mark because it was in December. It was an unofficial race. He was kind of running unattached. But out of Northern California, Armio High School, had a great prep career there at Armio for Coach David Monk. And he's just had such a great career now at NAU, big part of their team. Dressel right in the pocket of
and
the pacer.
For Grijalva, I mean, you look at the men's 5K, and it's kind of of course, it's a who's who on the top 10 NCAA list. You start getting into postseason, and you know, when did Lowy Lang run his 13 flat? It was out of season and things like that. But if you're looking at the official list, Henry Rono's 13:08 from 1978, still considered the collegiate record there. And who's second but a Lumberjack, Diego Estrada, NAU back in 2013, running 13:15. So you got to think for Grijalva, somewhere along the way this year, he wants to make some moves and get on that list.
They're getting a little antsy up there in front.
So you see Prickle there, and then
Prickle is trying to keep him going there. You got Maggard, Dressel, and Grijalva. And Prickle's just trying to keep him honest because they slowed just a little bit. Prickle trying to urge him along here. There's Dressel now moving. As I said, just such a savvy runner. Now he's kind of sliding up right there. He's trying to get on Prickle. 7:05 right there. You know, that's about 10 seconds off of 13:20 pace. So they're looking at more like 13:35 right now. And they don't really seem to be urgent. I think Prickle's the one telling them, hey guys, if we're gonna do this, let's get going, get on me, and I'll get you to where you need to be.
Brody Hasty on his teammates' heels there, right behind Grijalva. He was 44th at the cross-country championships, and pretty experienced for a sophomore there on that NAU team. You kind of got to grow up pretty quick as you run for Mike Smith there in Flagstaff. So Brody Hasty confidently moving now with that pack as there's a little bit of separation starting to form.
Yeah, this is a critical spot here.
Hasty as a sophomore has gone under 14
like
minutes as well, 13:55.
From Washington is trying to bridge that gap back to Hasty and Grijalva. And Dressel is driving the train. Prickle has stepped off. 8:12 at 3K. So yeah, they're that was a good lap to kind of keep them, keep the, kind of stop the bleeding a little bit as they've kind of been moving backwards a little bit off the pace. But it seems like Grijalva has no interest in leading or making the pace go at all. He's happy there, maybe wanting to kind of kick off of this pace. And it's Dressel right now who's doing the yeoman's work, carrying water at the front, now that Prickle has stepped off.
Andrew Jordan, you mentioned there, he got on that 5K list for Washington with his 13:39 from last year. But the school record will be in his sights, if not tonight, at some point soon. 13:35 from 2016. Colby Gilbert holding that record for the Huskies with, again, Andrew Jordan in that second position on the list. You see Andrew Jordan there.
I'll tell you, this would be a huge run for Hasty right there, hanging in that group. He just broke 14. As a freshman back in 2019, decorated prep out of Brentwood, Tennessee. And, for him right now on this 13:30-ish pace,
He's working, though.
Huge run for him. Jordan is trying to hang on for dear life on that pack. He did all that work to kind of bridge the gap. And look, his teammates coming right behind. Thibodeau Proctor, we talked about him breaking the 10K record at Stanford. The Stanford Invite earlier this year, the school record for Washington. He's leading that chase pack. And now we got a little mini break between Grijalva and Hasty. Hasty is kind of speed bumping Andrew Jordan. And then a gap back to Proctor. Proctor still trying to bridge back up to teammate Jordan. Jordan now trying to get around the Hasty speed bump and not lose contact with Grijalva.
Yeah, you see that gap starting to grow back to Jordan and Hasty, and I need to correct myself. Hasty did, in fact, break that school record this year, ran 13:33 indoors in that 5,000. So he does have the all conditions
so
or
he
indoor
does
and
have the
outdoor.
chops
Absolute.
at this pace. Yeah, he
got,
definitely does.
He's got that 13:33
now look
under
at Proctor.
his belt. So,
Proctor's
but that
really
gap
well.
is growing. You see, I mean, Grijalva has looked so smooth this whole time. There's no surprise. He's a 13:16 guy, but he's just so comfortable. While the other guys are look, we're 10.5 minutes in. They've got a chance at it, but they're working.
Hey, Dressel has squeezed it down just a bit. That's one of his better laps of the race, and that has gotten them back, kind of chopped that gap in half between being at 13:20 and 13:30 pace. So that was a great lap for Dressel, and it's really sawed off Jordan. But keep an eye on Thibodeau Proctor. He has been steadily making his way up through the field. He's now slid into 4th place, and we'll see if Dressel can't keep the foot on the gas, Proctor may be able to bridge that gap back up, but Dressel right now is not giving anything back to that next group and trying to make it a 3-man race and trying to potentially saw off Grijalva, but at this point Grijalva looks really comfortable, as does Maggard. So we're getting ready for a big last K here. They're going to be 800 to go at 11.
Grijalva, again, I think this is his wheelhouse. He's a pure 5K guy. He has gone under 340 in the 1500 as well. So he definitely has some wheels, but between him and a guy like Maggard, I got to put my money on Grijalva in a final kick here, but he's just been so comfortable.
And that was 67, so Dressel's not doing anything right now to Grijalva or Maggard. They're fine. I mean, we're talking, there goes Grijalva on cue. He's going to be at 600 to go. Let's keep an eye on what his last 600 is, because I think we're going to see some fireworks, because they're at 13:40 pace right now. This is well within their ability.
600 meters to go. He's going to crank that up. There is Dressel trying to stick with him. Maggard might start getting a little bit burnout on the speed. Grijalva just flipping that switch. We saw it earlier when he decided to move up to the back of that pack. But
Maggard,
no surprise here.
Maggard, more of a long distance guy. I don't see him being able to respond to this pace. Dressel did so much work there. He looks like he's already fully committed, and Grijalva is going to put on a show. 12:34. Let's keep an eye on that. See what his last lap is.
12:34 at the bell for Grijalva. Again,
Proctor
no surprise here, but look at that gap in the space of just a couple hundred meters. He's opened up 40 meters or so on Dressel and Maggard. I mean, it is just an unbelievable show of strength and speed here from Luis Grijalva. Now with 200 meters to go, I should say, just a tick over 13.
Ibrahim from New Mexico is coming with some heat right now with 200 to go. He's moved up into 4th, but look at Grijalva.
Grijalva now into the home stretch. No surprise and no stress on his face, pumping those arms, that smooth, languid stride. He knows he's going to have to be at his best to compete with the best in the NCAA. He did just what he needed to do here tonight. He'll be under 13:30, just a tick, and that'll check the box for him. 13:29.04.
55 flat for Grijalva for his last 400. 55 flat. I mean, that was a walk in the park.
Give him the win, give him the meet record and the stadium record as well, wiping out the meet record from 1987 and the stadium record from 2018. Won't be the last record for Luis Grijalva. Might be the easiest sub 13:30 I've seen.
They're announcing 54.9, a friendly watch here up here in the booth. I had him at 55 flat. Nonetheless, that is a huge last lap. And you know what? It didn't look like he was like digging deep. That just looked smooth. I mean, yeah.
There's only so many synonyms for smooth.
Right.
I mean,
we know he ran 13:16, so yeah, him running at 13:30 to 13:40 pace.